The Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe unanimously voted in favor of approving a resolution on the restoration of Ukraine. It is planned to use the assets of the aggressor country for this purpose. Assembly called for the creation of an international compensation fund. The states that have frozen Russian funds will be able to transfer them to it. It's necessary to set up an international commission that will consider claims for compensation for the damage recorded in the register, the resolution said.
And an international compensation commission, which, in accordance with international norms and standards, will pay out this reparation to damages to Ukraine and natural and legal entities, as well as devise programs for the recovery of Ukraine.
Two preparation stages must still take place before Ukraine receives the Russian assets. The first stage is the seizure of Russian funds. The second is the direct confiscation of this money. After that, the international community will be able to hand over the Russian assets to Ukraine.
This is very important, so that in the future and now, in relation to the Russian Federation, any dictator, any authoritarian power understands that there is a special mechanism in international terms of size, confiscate and transfer to the affected party the assets of those countries, companies, businessmen who will decide to start wars sometime in the future.
The USA, together with the G7 countries, is studying various options for transferring frozen Russian assets to Kyiv. United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that one of the possible proposals is for the G7 states to transfer a percentage of the proceeds from frozen Russian funds.
There is a high degree of unity amongst G7 countries that we need to do everything possible within international law. We are also conscious of the fact that the reason that we are so concerned about what Russia did in Ukraine was because it broke international law, and we are trying to uphold the international system. So, when it comes to financial sanctions, we want to make sure that we stay on the right side of the line. But we also want to do everything we can to make sure that Russia picks up the tab for the terrible damage they have caused. Jeremy Hunt, UK Chancellor of the Exchequer, in comment to Politico. Even when the force majeure is of the highest level, which is war, even in relation to the aggressor terrorist organizations, they still follow internationally accepted legal mechanisms, and that's the right thing to do. Why? Because it will make it impossible for this situation to go backwards for any reason.
The G7 countries are closer than ever to a consensus on the use of Russia's frozen assets, the Telegraph has reported. Speaking in Parliament, British Foreign Secretary David Cameron said that about $300 billion in frozen assets of the Russian Federation would help cover a part of Ukrainian needs. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.